World Ice Hockey Championships in Bern, Switzerland, and one of the best games played, in fact one of the best games I've seen in the last 12 months, was a 3-3 tie during the round robin between two hockey powers with perfect records at the time, and 1 year later perfect records once again as they meet head to head in this tournament. Canada and the Soviet Union. Hello again everybody, I'm Paul Romanuk along with Gary Green. Great to have you with us. TSN's exclusive coverage of the 1991 World Ice Hockey Championships. Mike Vernon is in goal for Team Canada. He is seeing his first action in this tournament. Sean Burke has started all the other games. And in goal for the Soviets, Alexei Marinin. The Soviets in the red, the big red machine. Canada in the white. And we are just underway. Back at the line, that's number 3, Doug Lidster, who failed to keep it in. And he is wearing the captaincy for Team Canada and wearing a grimace after that offside call.
One of the National Hockey League veterans who does have World Championship experience, Doug Lidster. This is his third World Tournament. He competed in 85 and in 90. Lidster was able to, he thought, keep that puck in. That wasn't the case. Faceoff comes all the way back down deep into Canada's end zone.
His third World Championships. Was the top scoring defenseman this year with the Vancouver Canucks. A few Canucks on this team. Trevor Linden also here. Soviets control. Fedosov with a shot off the draw, knocked down. Quite a number of familiar faces to NHL fans on the big red machine as well. That's an offside pass called on Team Canada, and the face-off once again called back. And there's a look at Alexei Marinin. Played this year with Spartak. He's 26 years of age.
So the Soviets are trying a couple of new goaltenders in Marinin and also in Andrei Trefilov. The Soviets really can't surprise Dave King too much, though. King said jokingly yesterday in preparation for this game today, he said Tikhonov's probably really concerned about who he's going to start out there. Any one of his 4 powerful units.
So much depth on this team. They are 4-0 in the tournament, so is Canada. But both of these teams have the benefit of a soft schedule to start things off, based on their finish last year. Barging in now. Courtnall with a chance, and he's turned back. Courtnall had such a great finish with the Vancouver Canucks this year, playing well so far here. In for the Soviets, Lomakin with a shot, scores! Andrei Lomakin taking the shot, and the Soviets taking the lead.
Right after Courtnall had a good opportunity for Canada, the Soviets break right into the zone. It was a 3-on-3. Actually a 3-on-4. And Canada, even though they had good defensive coverage in their own zone, were not able to stop the Soviets from scoring. Vernon got caught on a deflection.
It went off of Trent Yanni. Lomakin gets credit for the goal, and the Soviets are up by a score of 1-0. Yanni was well out when the puck went off of him, and it still managed to elude Mike Vernon. So the Soviets take the lead early in this hockey game. Long pass up in the wing, a little bit too far for Kozlov. He's rattled along the boards by Lidster. Fleury knocks it up ahead for Sakic. He has been outstanding for Team Canada so far at this tournament. Joe Sakic from the Quebec Nordiques. You see him up there forechecking, can't come up with it in the corner. Out for the Soviets. Makarov moves it up ahead. Hernan the stop, rebound in front, and Kozlov just fired it wide. 2 good chances for the Soviets. They clicked on one of them, Lomakin at 104, and Kozlov just missing on a rebound there.
Doug Lidster's seen Makarov do that a few times, Paul, in the last couple of years.
A few times too many, no doubt, for his liking. Back out again for the Soviets. Konstantinov will just clear it in and head to the bench. Soviets make changes on the go. Lidster back to fetch it. Over to Jamie McCowan, his defensive partner. McCowan moves it up the middle. 2-line pass. Clicking with Murray Craven, and that'll be called back.
So Tikhonen has added his National Hockey League players. Makarov more than most recently, but also with Kasatonov, Fedosov.
And Mike Vernon being tested already in this game. Soviets just flying in over the blue line in the early going. We played 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and the Soviets lead 1-0. Up around the boards. Nemchinov back to get it. Can't get it out. Just rolls it around back of his own net. Pass out at center. Nemchinov. In over the blue line. McCowan stops that. Moves it up ahead to Smith, and that'll bounce up off the linesman, actually. Lead pass. Shot ripped just wide of the net by Dave Archibald. Archibald playing with a sore knee, but he got everything behind that. Back the other way. Nemchinov into the corner. Can't get it in front. McCowan out for Craven. Makarov moves it up. Puck fired right on by Samnov. Knocked away. Here's Smith. Up on the wing, Schlegel will just clear it in for Team Canada. Dave King making some changes. Steve Thomas comes over the boards and heads up to forecheck. He's up there with Larmer and Sakic. What a potent combination this has been for the Canadian team. Trent Yanni now. Up ahead for Larmer. Thomas breaking through the middle. He finds him. Sakic's there too. Here's Thomas. Shoots. That's wide. Larmer trying to dig it loose. Long breakout pass. Vernon the stop. Kamensky cutting right in, and Vernon stayed with him. Canada trailing 1-0. Mike Vernon forced to cover up right off a face-off. Pavel Bure sneaking in from the side of the net and testing him.
So Kamensky has set up a couple of good opportunities. One that he actually had himself. The second one after Bure. Right here, put that puck right off of Vernon and out to Kamensky. Vernon made the save. Valery Kamensky, who is owned by the Quebec Nordiques, is an incredible player, and every NHL scout and general manager that's here would love to get their hands on him. And but it's reported that he'll end up in Milan next year, that he will not be going to Quebec.
Apparently his son has asthmatic problems, and the winters in Quebec wouldn't help very much, so he's a little bit reluctant to go there. Lidster. To Courtnall now to Ronning, who clears it in. Trevor Linden up there to forecheck. Linden, Ronning, and Courtnall the forward line for Team Canada. Can't get much going this time. Soviet's able to break out. Zamnov moves it across into the corner now. Mironov after it, can't come up with it. Nemchinov checking as well. Linden settling things down for Team Canada. Out to center. Got Ronning with him on the wing. Linden can't get it in front. What a battle back in the net with Kravchuk. Rattles him along the boards, and the Soviets able to clear the zone. Simak just ragging the puck, waiting for his team to make some changes. Kozlov cutting in deep, takes a look in front. Vernon will grab it and keeps it in play. Back out comes Fleury. He's on the move. Fleury comes up, gets it in over the blue line. Larmer's in there. Fleury going for the front of the net, but Larmer can't get it to him. Up around the boards. Number 41, Steve Bozak after it. Takes his man, but can't get the puck, and play is called. Icing on the Soviets.
Dave King really didn't know what to expect in this game today against the Soviets, other than that the Soviets would be as powerful as they always were, but more so from his own hockey club, how they would react against playing against this Soviet hockey club. And again, with the addition of some new players in the last week, and 2 slots still left to be filled. Dave King has left those 2 slots open, and the first team, he says, that is beat out right now in the National Hockey League will get an opportunity.
Right off the draw, puck fired in, and Marinan makes the save. Here's Fleury out at center for Team Canada, trying to keep the drive alive. Knocked away. Samov knocks it into the corner. Kozlov after it. And a penalty coming up. It's going to be against the Soviets. So Canada will get a chance in the power play. And we'll get a look at that power play when we... Kozlov off for tripping, and Team Canada set to go to work in the power play. Trailing 1-0, we played 5 minutes and 43 seconds of period number 1. Lemakin scoring for the Soviets at 1:04.
Viktor Tikhonov wouldn't have been too pleased if he had an opportunity to see the replay on that penalty, because Kozlov was only upset because Theoren Fleury was holding his stick, and then Theoren Fleury went down for a pretty big dive, and it worked.
Larmer, Fleury, and Sakic up front for Team Canada. Down on the corner now, Thomas gets it back to the line. Fleury actually playing the point, normally a forward. Thomas taking his place up front. And the other defenseman is Trent Yanni. This is Fleury with it now. Lots of room and lots of time on the power play. Fleury slips the noose at the line, but can't move the puck in.
Team Canada, whose players so often are used to a setup, a practice setup on their power play, have experienced some difficulties, and I think for that main reason, lack of practice. They've only scored 1 goal in the power play.
Lidster moves it in. Yves Racine, number 33, with it. Plays the point a lot for the Red Wings in the power play. He's got a good shot if they can feed it to him. In back of the net, Thomas trying to chop it loose. And the puck is picked up, and the loose puck is cleared out immediately by Zelepukin. 50 seconds left in the man advantage for Team Canada. They trail 1-0. Here comes Lidster. Sneaks it up for Ronning. Over on the side, puck fired in on goal by Courtnall, and that's knocked away. Courtnall's had a couple of good chances. Lidster still moves it across. 35 seconds left in the power play. Courtnall cuts right in. Courtnall still in front. They can't get the feed to him. Back to Racine. Over to Lidster. Shoots. Not much on the shot. Rebound. Fired just wide by Courtnall. 10 seconds left in the power play for Canada, and that will do it. Soviets able to clear the zone and ease the pressure.
Trevor Linden may have had the best opportunity on that pass from Courtnall. Great experience for a young player like Trevor Linden, who had an exceptional year again for the Canucks.
And Linden steps in. Offside is called on Team Canada. Canada getting a couple of shots on goal during that power play. Couldn't put either of them by Alexei Marinin, the Soviet goal.
Linden led the Vancouver Canucks this year in scoring. 33 goals, 36 assists. And an obvious offside.
And like Kamensky and that man right there, Vladislav Tretiak, Linden has had a fair bit of international experience, although not as many as those two. Linden playing in the World Junior Championships in 1988. Sakic and Fleury were teammates, if I recall. Icing called in the Soviets. And of course, in international hockey, just to remind you once again, icing is called once the puck breaks the plane of the goal line. You don't have to actually go back and touch it. That's what we're used to in North America, of course. Back towards the line. Natras able to keep it in. Works it back. Puck fired right on by Natras. Knocked down. Side of the net. Lots of traffic in front, and nobody could find the mark. Sobe's looking for a penalty. Bore going for the front of the net, looking for a pass, and Vernon will hang on to it.
And amazingly, that still was onside at the blue line. Pavel Bure is still a 20-year-old, but what great international experience he's had. He plays for the Soviet Red Army, and Alan Eagleson in his familiar perch here, watching over international hockey.
You know when the Eagle's in town.
You know when the Eagle has landed, that's right.
Smith for Team Canada. Up along the boards, Craven takes a whack at it, and they scrum it in over the blue line, rugby style, getting the job done nonetheless. Gusarov back there for the Soviets, helping to move it out. Archibald up the forecheck for Team Canada. Can't keep any pressure on. Offside this time is called on the Soviets. Played 8 minutes and 40 seconds of this first period. You're watching the World Hockey Championships on TSN. And offside call on Team Canada. Welcome back to the Typhoon Arena just outside of Turku, Finland. And the crowds have been packing the place to watch some good hockey this week.
And what a beautiful new arena this building is. Turku, only a population of about 160,000 people, but this brand new facilities coincided with their hosting the World Championship. All the medal round games will be played here, even though the preliminary games have been seen in Helsinki as well as Tampere.
Now we'll be in Tampere for one of the Canadian games. Canada played Finland up there. Here's a chance. Courtnall rifles one just wide. Courtnall has been red hot in this first period. Hasn't been able to bury one, though. Semak back for the Soviets. Centers it. Knocked away by Vernon. Thought he had it in the glove. Semak after it over on the side. Fleury checking him. Knocked loose. Blumakin trying to get it in front. Battles his way in close, but Fleury starts back for Team Canada. Out with Bozak. He'll just clear it in. Courtnall up there to forecheck. Down in the corner. And around back of the net, it's broken up. Mironov for the Soviets. Semak wheels it across. Mironov gets it down into the corner. Semak trying to get it in front. Bats it up around the boards. Makarov shoots, and that is tipped up into the netting above the glass behind Mike Vernon, and we get a stoppage. We played 9:52 of the first period. Canada trailing 1-0.
Semak took so long, Paul, waiting on that 2-on-1 before he did anything with it that allowed Brad Schlegel to be able to come back and make it a 2-on-2. Semak just waited and waited and waited, and as you can see, Schlegel was able to get back in time. Semak's shot wasn't very dangerous.
Looked as though it was tipped towards the goal, an intended pass.
He was at a terrible angle, though, by the time that he did shoot that puck. He'd waited so long.
Trying to burrow his way in is Makarov. He is stopped. Kozlov picks it up. Works it up ahead. Makarov going for the net. There's the pass. Scores! Samnov scores for the Soviets, and it's 2-0.
That puck seemed to just drift way up high. Watch Samnov. When he got it, he just let it go. And it found its way. Now Vernon was still giving plenty of room from that angle. I think he was thinking that Samnov may have been taking himself right out of good scoring position. But in fact, he didn't.
That's the Soviets' eighth shot of the period. And they have 2 goals and a 2-0 lead. Samnov gets it. And the Soviets taking advantage of their opportunities. I'll tell you, a one-man opportunity for Team Canada in this period has been Jeff Courtnall. Some great chances, at least 3. And he hasn't been able to bury any of them yet. Makarov and Kozlov picking up the assist on that Soviet goal at 10-14. Sakic working it along the boards, pass back out right between the 2 defensemen. Icing waved off, so Vernon out to play it. Up to Doug Lidster. Steps up, Thomas at the line in front of him. So Sakic. Lidster just settles to dump it in. Linden up there to forecheck. Here's Sakic. Steals it in the corner. Linden in front, and the pass about 6 feet over his head. Thomas knocking it towards the line, broken up. Soviets come back. Lead pass up. Puck fired wide. Makarov gets it into the corner. Nemchinov trying to knock it loose. Down and along the boards, Soviets up 2-0. And Nemchinov's pass is broken up by McCowan. Team Canada back out. Linden up for McCowan. Working it in. Trying to drive in towards the goal. Had Ronning up there too, but couldn't get it to him. Back in for the Soviets now. Nemchinov, nice move to slip away from Natras. Losing the puck now. Natras will pick it up. Nemchinov after him in the corner. And they'll tie it up and freeze it. Canada trailing 2-0. You're watching the World Hockey Championships from Finland. I'm Paul Romanek with Gary Green, Jim Van Horn watching the action back at our TSN Control Center. The World Hockey Championships on TSN. 2-0 Soviets lead. Puck fired in there, and Vernon kicks it away. Ronning clears the rebound back out to center. Here comes Bure. He's got some steam. Bure trying to beat Yanni. Chases him to the outside. Kamensky up there with him too. But Bure has to retreat out to center. Lead pass a little bit too far for the intended receiver, Bikov. And here comes Ronning back out. Courtnall exploding down the wing. Shoots! Up around the board. That is the 4th good chance for Courtnall in this period, although that one perhaps not as good as the previous 3. A penalty coming up against Team Canada. And we'll get our first look in this game at the Soviets' power play. Referee is Seppo Mякеля. He is a Finnish referee.
There's the hook. You can see that Cliff Ronning put his hands up in the air after the infraction had already taken place. The Soviets so far in this tournament have not got the best power play, the best power play in the league, or in the tournament I should say, so far belongs actually to Finland. The Soviets are number 3 in the rankings on power play opportunities.
Which is a bit of a surprise. Normally associate those great specialty teams with this team.
I'll tell you, a team that has surprised everyone probably in this tournament so far have been the Swiss, who last year were in B pool, this year are in A pool. And it's just been so customary for teams that have come up from B pool to be really subjected to some big scores, but that hasn't been the case with the Switzerland team in this year's World Championships.
No, they haven't been blown out like Norway last year, for example, who were the proverbial doormats for the tournament. Switzerland losing by 1 and 2 goals, 3-goal deficits being the worst. Soviets on the power play. We played 13:02 of the first period, and the USSR leading Team Canada 2-0. 1:44 to go on the man advantage. Simak moves it in. And Zamnov just unloads from the wing, and Vernon will hang on. Mike Vernon's first start in this tournament. Sean Burke has been the big man for Team Canada, literally and figuratively. He's 6'4" and covers a lot of net.
Vernon was making sure that he had possession of that puck and wasn't going to give up a rebound. Vernon had the second most wins of any goaltender in the National Hockey League this year with 31. Eddie Belfour, of course, from the Chicago Blackhawks, had the most.
And Mike Vernon has had some success against the Soviets, going back to 1983, and he was on the national junior team that won a bronze medal. But certainly not as much action against the Soviets as Sean Burke. Up around the boards now. Semak looking in front. Zelapukin parked just off the edge of the crease. Semak with it. In back of the goal. Lomakin looking in front. Drops it back. Zelapukin. Lomakin. Into Zelapukin. Semak is in front now. Back out to Lomakin. Works it across, and there's that one-time shot that misses the mark. Lomakin, sharp angle. Can't see any room. Watch the Soviets just hold on to it, and wait for the one good chance. Loose in front, gobbled up by Bozek, and he'll break out.
They're so patient when it comes to setting up. They will wait for that perfect opportunity to score from the slot. And Canada playing a very disciplined, yet non-aggressive box. It's a big ice surface out there, and tough for penalty killers to play aggressively.
25 seconds left in the power play for the Soviets. Here's Trent Yanni for Team Canada. Up to Larmer. Shoots! Kicked away. Marinin dealing with that long-range shot, no problem. 10 seconds left in the power play for the Soviets. Kravchuk after it. Kozlov. Penalized player steps back on, and a penalty coming up against the Soviets. It will be an interference call just as Canada had killed off the Soviet power play, and that is number 16, Vladimir Konstantinov, heading off.
And obviously, as the referee Mякеля describes, it's for interference. Schlegel took a check, or I should say Larmer took the check.
Looked almost like a pick play there. Linden, Ronning, and Courtnall up front for Team Canada to start the power play. Yanni back at the blue line with it. Fleury playing the other point. Here's Linden. Ronning in front. Yanni had snuck in from the blue line and was chopped down while he was in the process of taking that shot. 1:40 to go in the power play. Lots of time for Team Canada. Here comes Fleury. And Marinin is going to hang on to the rebound. Trevor Linden comes in to do a bit of jabbing.
Linden jabbed and then backed right off. Discipline is always such a key factor for Team Canada when they participate in the World Championship. Staying out of the penalty box is a must.
And of course the book on Canadian teams over here, and very accurate for the most part. In past years, Canadian teams could be put right off their game. They'd start worrying more about the officiating and intimidating than playing hockey, and things would just fall apart. Here's Fleury. Tight roping along that blue line. Good job to keep it in. Ronning has it knocked away. Fleury back to Yanni. 1:15 to go on the power play for Team Canada. About 4.5 minutes to play in the period. Canada trailing 2-0. Lemakin and Zamnov scoring for the Soviets. Here comes Yanni, up to Ronning. Courtnall wheels away up the middle. Linden comes in as well. Courtnall goes for the net. Here comes Linden, right in there. And what a stop by Meredith.
Some great moves by big Trevor Linden. That's what you've got to like about this young hockey player. After his third year in the NHL, at only 20 years of age, he's been showing more and more offensive moves, just like this one. He almost lost that puck, pulled it back with his feet, put it right onto his stick, and then tried to go high in that glove side. Trevor Linden's got the strength and the size and the reach, Paul. He's got so much going for him in the next decade in the NHL.
49 seconds to go in the power play for Canada. Sakic out to take the face-off, up there with Larmer and Thomas. What a potent combination. Zelapukin up there with a little reconnaissance for the Soviets. He just turns and backs out to the blue line, opening things up for Doug Lidster. Larmer breaks in over the line to the corner. Lidster clears it in. Here comes Thomas up there. Thomas and Larmer dig it loose. Thomas trying to get it in front, had his pocket picked. Yves Racine moves well up from the blue line. In around back of the net. 20 seconds left in the power play for Team Canada. Here's Sakic looking in front. Sees Lidster back at the blue line. Can't get it to him though. Here's Racine. Again, way in from the point. Trying to get it in front, knocked down. 7 seconds left in the power play, and that will do it for Team Canada's man advantage. Penalized player steps back on. The team's at even strength. Canada trailing 2-0. We played 16:54 of this opening period. And a two-line pass called on Team Canada. We'll be right back. Bure, Bykov, and Kamensky out there for the Soviets, and they get a shot right off the face-off. And we'll have another face-off down in the Team Canada zone.
Gusarov left the Soviets last season in January and went to the Quebec Nordiques. 3 goals, 9 assists in the 36 games that he played for the Soviets. The 26-year-old is back with Tikhonov again.
Craven chopping it out to center. Can't continue the rush, however. Bure looking for it. Picks it up. Pavel Bure clearing it down and in. Natras back there for Team Canada. Kamensky checking him, but Craven comes away with it. Bure all over Craven. And Craven will leg it out. McCowan up to Smith. Smith again at the line. Trying to sneak past Bure, but Bure comes back now for the Soviets. Kamensky, sharp angle and around back of the net. McCowan checks him. Kamensky still behind the play, lurking in the weeds over in front of the net. Kamensky moves in, and Vernon will hang on.
The Soviets make it so difficult for defensive coverage in your end zone. Smith was having a real difficult time just trying to find a man, and once he did, he found out that one of the Canadian players already had that man. He was in search of another Soviet. Mike Vernon decided he would just hang on to that puck so that the Canadians could get reorganized in their own end zone. I'll give Randy Smith full credit, though. He sure had that head going out of the 360. He was just looking for a man in his own end zone. But the Soviets just crisscross so much, even in the offensive zone. They look for open ice constantly, and that's the way Tikhonov wants it. So it makes man-on-man coverage in your defensive zone very difficult.
Schlegel clearing it in for Team Canada. Fleury up there after it. Lets it go for Thomas. Thomas trying to shake loose. Outnumbered 2-1. Couldn't beat those odds. Nemchinov gets it in over the blue line. Takes the return pass, cutting in back of the net. Nemchinov looking for somebody in front. He's got Lemakin up there with him. And the Soviets, again, as you pointed out, Gary, just swirl around in that offensive zone. It is so tough to watch them and cover them. Fleury. Kravchuk now for the Soviets. Lomakin steps in. Offside. Simak was one step ahead on the left wing.
See, Paul, most coaches would say, well, then you've got to take the body on them. That's the only way to effectively cover them in the offensive zone. Well, that's also easier said than done.
Well, it's not like they're easy to knock off their balance or anything. The Soviets, brilliant skaters.
Well, they also move that puck to the open man so well. They're such unselfish players. Winning is the only important thing for the Soviet team.
Pass behind Courtnall. He'll wheel in after it. Courtnall's had the good first period, but icing is called on Team Canada. No touch icing, of course. The puck crossing the line, it'll be called back. 18:46 we played in the first period. 2-0 is the score. Canada trailing. Lomakin and Zamnov scoring for the Soviets.
And Jeff Courtnall has had the best opportunities in this first period, as you pointed out. What an addition to the Vancouver Canucks he was when he came over in that trade, along, of course, with Cliff Ronning. In playoffs, in the 6 games, 3 goals and 5 assists for Jeff Courtnall, and he's just seems to have continued where he left off in Vancouver.
Zamnov picks it up, and a penalty coming up against Team Canada. Vyacheslav Kozlov will head off. The trick taking place right in the slot. And referee Seppo Mякеля making the call.
Ronning goes down. That's twice in this first period that Ronning has drawn a penalty.
Penalty coming with 1:09 to go in the first period, so it will carry over to period number 2, barring, of course, a Canadian goal.
So as mentioned, Courtnall with the most opportunities. That's why Dave King puts Courtnall and Trevor Linden right back out in the ice, of course, along with Ronning.
Yanni and Fleury back at the point. Again, Fleury, normally a forward, playing the point on the power play, the right point, and he has the puck now. Less than a minute to go in the period. Scores! Do you believe it? This man doesn't.
You know, the Soviet goaltenders in World Championships and important games have had a habit, Paul, over the years, the last few especially, in finding a goaltender that doesn't give up an easy goal once a game. Marinin was on his way out thinking that that was going to be a dump and chase. He was going to stop that puck along the boards. But instead, Fleury did not dump and chase. He put that puck right on net. Great goal by Theron Fleury, and a very unexpected one.
19:05, the time of the unassisted goal for Team Canada on the power play. Kozlov back in. Top of the slot, scores! Kasatonov.
But it didn't take the Soviets long to overcome their embarrassment with a long shot. Kasatonov moves right in from the point. And let's go with a good blasting shot. That puck seemed to drop a bit as well.
So Canada gets a goal at 19:05 in the power play from Theron Fleury. Kasatonov comes right back at 19:21 and says, oh no you don't. And Canada remains 2 goals back with 28 seconds to play in period number 1. But again, just going back to that Canadian goal, you could see Gary on the high angle replay that Marinin was heading into the corner to play, and he thought the puck was going to be dumped in. What a break that was for Team Canada.
Well, he was expecting Canada, as they like to do, to dump and chase, especially when the Soviets had formed the wall in trying to kill their penalty off. Marinin will learn from that one, no doubt. And he'll probably hear some sharp words from Tikkanen.
Marinin relatively new on the international scene. Bure trying to get it across in front, back of the net. Nemchinov giving a bump. Here's Thomas now. Gets it out. Larmer trying to sneak away. Couldn't get his bearings or control the puck. 5 seconds left in the period. Schlegel up for Thomas. And that will do it for period number 1. Team Canada heading to the dressing room, trailing by a score of 3-1. And what looked to be a big break with that power play goal was erased seconds later.
And I'll tell you what, Paul, it won't be Tikkanen, but Tikhonov that will, in fact, give the harsh words of any.
Although great finish with the Vancouver Canucks this year. Playing well so far here. In for the Soviets, Lomakin with a shot, scores! Andrei Lomakin taking the shot, and the Soviets taking the lead. Kozlov picks it up, works it up ahead. Makarov going for the net, there's the pass, scores! Less than a minute to go in the period. Scores! 19:05, the time of the unassisted goal for Team Canada on the power play. Kozlov back in. Top of the slot, scores! And good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching in. I'm Paul Romanov with Gary Green, and that is Steve Thomas ripping a shot on goal. Alexei Marinin knocks it away. Second period action just underway. Team Canada trailing by a score of 3-1. Round robin play at the World Ice Hockey Championships in Turku, Finland. Teams start the period at even strength. Thomas along pass. Here comes Bure wheeling back for the Soviets. Drops it off. Bure will peel off into the corner. Gusarov tried to punch it in, and you see it just ricochet there out to center. Here's Bure once again. Gusarov. And that'll go all the way down and be called back for icing. Face-off coming back into Soviet territory.
Canada down 3-1. Dave King would have had an opportunity in the intermission to go over, I think, defensive coverage more than anything, Paul. Some of the inexperienced players having to deal with this. Dealing with the Soviets and trying to cover them.
The cheer you hear is for an out-of-town game going on. The host Finnish team playing the German team, and the Finns are leading by a score of 1-0. That result just going up on the board. A lot of pressure on the Finnish team, Jari Kurri in particular, and they have been a disappointment so far in this tournament. Heading into action today with 1 win, a couple of losses, and a tie. They lost their game against Canada the other night in Helsinki, in Canada's best game of the tournament so far. Kozlov wheels around, finds some daylight. Out ahead there, Zamnov. Back across for Kozlov. In deep. Trying to shake off Schlegel. Can't do it. Team Canada able to regroup. Here comes Linden. Up to Schlegel. Up off the boards. Courtnall lets it go back to the point. Yanni sends it in. Ronning back of the net. Trying to look in front. Konstantinov checks him. Here's Courtnall now for Team Canada. He's got Linden with him, and he gets it to him. Linden checked on the play. Puck knocked loose. Kozlov breaking quickly, but Linden breaks it up. Here comes Linden. Trying to battle his way back in. Kasatonov had a grip on him and pounds him into the boards. Here's Linden again in the corner. Can't handle the pass. Konstantinov to Kozlov. Soviets trying to break out. Linden is there again to break it up. He's at a strong shift. Kasatonov gets it past McCowan. Soviets will make some changes. McCowan back there to fetch it for Team Canada.
Behind the play, Trevor Linden just gave Makarov a little chop with that stick right over the back.
Here comes Fleury. Tried the long-range snipe again. It worked in the first period. It was blocked that time. Fleury scored from outside the blue line in the first period in a power play for Team Canada. Zamnov trying to fight off Fleury. Fleury takes a couple of chops, can't get the puck though. Zamnov, great job, tried to center it, and it's picked off. Back comes Team Canada. Sakic drops it. Fleury, Sakic, right in front. That stop in, covered up. Marinin goes down and gets the face-off.
Well, if Sakic only had the opportunity to do that all over again, he would have gone high on Marinin. He played it perfectly. Watch. Sakic back to Fleury, give and go, and then Sakic just threw that puck right on net. He didn't have anyone on him, and you can see that Marinin was going down. That upper part of the net was left wide open to Joe Sakic.
Seamak on the faceoff against Dave Archibald of Team Canada. Archibald, one of 4 regular Olympic team members on this Canadian club. Usually the team staffed entirely by professionals from the NHL. Not the case this time. Lidster, a shot, just missed. Racine moves it in. Archibald for Smith, trying to tuck it through. Craven was stiff there as he drove towards the slot. Archibald in back of the net, knocked away. Mironov gets it up around the boards and out, and Lidster back there to pick it up for Canada. Lidster having trouble with the forechecking of Seamak. Lidster still. Marinin just playing it off there for Kravchuk. He's dumped. Archibald centered it in front. Smith couldn't get to it. Nemchinov back for the Soviets. Cross ice pass there for Lemakin. Couldn't catch up with it. And that'll be called back in the Soviets. Played 3:35 of the second period. Canada trailing 3-1.
So you think Tikhonov would have much preferred, well, if he had his druthers, he'd pick a goaltender that isn't accustomed to international play. I don't think that it matters. And we're going to go back to that argument that you started in the first intermission. You started. Is that you pick the best goaltender, the one that's most suited winning you hockey games, whether it's international play or NHL.
Larmer looking for Sakic, passes way over his head. Sakic in front. Thomas ripped a shot and just missed. Thomas with one of the hardest wrist shots in hockey, and he just missed burying that. Soviets come back though. Makarov cuts in, rolling it through. Konstantinov after it. Back along the boards. Biakin battling down in the corner. Makarov after it now, number 24. And here's Schlegel for Team Canada. Schlegel flips it down into Biakin's corner, and Biakin is back to pick it up. Canada making changes on the go. Makarov back up for Biakin. Threads his way in over the line. There's the return pass, and it was picked off. Natras all the way up, and that's way up over 2 lines. That'll be called back.
Courtnall was once again looking to get into the open. He was way up ice out of his own zone, looking for that opportunity. He had left the zone long before the puck had.
Had 3 or 4 good chances in the first period, and wasn't able to click with the goal. Canada trailing 3-1. Kamensky back in the net, can't get it in front. Linden trying to fend off his man. Vikov trying to chop it down. Here comes Fleury. Check that, it's Ronning up to center, and he stopped. Here's Bure. Fedosov. Back up for Bure. Choked off by Ronning. Gusarov up ahead for Bure. Drops it back there at the line. Vikov back into Bure in the corner, back of the net. Kamensky looking for it. Tries to center it back in front. Bure picks it up in the corner, lunges at it, got it in front, and Kamensky couldn't pick it up. Canada breaking back. Linden, long lead pass. Courtnall shoots, rebound, right in front. There's a shot by Linden, and Marinin will hang on. We'll be right back. Konstantinov just firing a shot low and wide there for the Soviets. 3-1, the Soviets leading Team Canada. We played 6 minutes of this second period. I'm Paul Romanuk with Gary Green, TSN's coverage of the World Hockey Championship. Starting off with this game. Samnov, who scored a goal for the Soviets in the first period, battles his way in. Kozlov is up there too. Kozlov back towards the line, it's broken up. Bozak into the corner. Fleury's up there with him. 3 Soviets converging on the puck, and Kasatonov comes away with it. up at center. Zamnov in deep, drops it off. Makarov had a chance to shoot, but didn't. Makarov still. Now here's Larmer to Schlegel. Fleury flips it in, and Dave King yelling from the bench for a change. Nemchinov checked. Kasatonov up the middle, and that'll roll in. Mike Vernon out to play it. And Kasatonov sends it right back in. Soviets make some changes now.
They almost made a change a little too quickly, Paul. Kasatonov did not come off the ice, yet Kravchuk thought that he was. And so Kravchuk was already on the ice, but the officials did not catch it. So the Soviets were not penalized for too many men on the ice. Kravchuk got off quickly enough.
Yeah, he kind of hopped up on the edge of the boards when he saw the puck coming towards the Soviet bench.
Rick Natras taking out his man.
With a little style. .705 gone by in the second period. 3-1, the Soviets on top. Canada's only goal, or a fluke really. Fleury cleared it in from outside the blue line and beat the goaltender, Alexei Marinin. Archibald making some headway, gets in front, shoots. Marinin the stop. Rebound, Craven went after it and was pulled down by Igor Kravchuk. And it's power play time for Team Canada.
Kravchuk should have stayed on the bench. Instead he came off and picks up an interference penalty for taking down Murray Craven. Everyone grabbing a man in the Soviet zone. And Kravchuk grabbing his, Murray Craven, illegally.
Nice job by Archibald there to go deep in the slot and get a shot on goal. Partially screened the goaltender Marinin.
As you mentioned in the first period, Dave Archibald was not expected to play because he was suffering from an injured knee. That same knee kept him out of the lineup for 2 months in October and November this past season.
Sakic, Larmer, and Thomas up front for Team Canada. Malahov clears it in. Vernon drops it off for Fleury. Fleury is back at the blue line with Trent Yanni. 1:38 to go in the power play for Team Canada, and here comes Fleury. Lead pass is offside.
I think Dave King was hoping that players like Steve Larmer and Steve Thomas would be so upset at their postseason play of their team, the Chicago Blackhawks, that they would bring that intensity to this team. Larmer had an outstanding season with the Blackhawks. This is his first World Championship that he's participating in. He led the Blackhawks this past season in scoring. 44 goals, 57 assists. .125 to go in a power play for Team Canada. The Soviets doing a great job of killing it. The puck going up into the netting there. And that'll get another stoppage with 1:20 to go in the man advantage. Darren Fleury, the only marksman for Team Canada. The Soviets have been tough defensively. And that cheer for the result going up in the scoreboard. The Finns are now leading the Germans 2-0 in a game being played elsewhere. A great hockey nation, Finland. And a rabid hockey fans here in Turku. Here comes Sakic. Up there with Thomas, broken up. Biakin will just feather it ever so gingerly back down the ice for the Soviets. 55 seconds left in the power play for Canada. We played 8:31 in the second period. 3-1, the Soviets lead. Round robin action at the World Hockey Championships. Both of these teams undefeated. 4-0 records and tied for first place overall. Fleury under some pressure. Bykov making life miserable for him. 35 seconds left in the power play. Thomas works it out. Linden a shot. Rebound. Linden can't get to it.
And Malahov just clears it down the ice. That will about do it. Maybe time for one more rush. Puck handed away to Kamensky. Now he is dumped. 15 seconds left in the power play for Canada.
I don't think Theoren Fleury meant to give that puck to Kamensky.
Courtnall shooting. Kicked away. Rebound gobbled up by Ronning. Courtnall's been flying. Here's Ronning. Courtnall's in front. Ronning shoots. Rebound chopped in behind the net. Here's Trevor Linden. Penalized player is back on. Ronning biding some time along the boards. Out to Linden. Gets it in front. Ronning couldn't get to it. Courtnall now up there forechecking. Bumping Fedosov. Linden steps up and bumps him. Gusarov gets it out. Fedosov chased back into his own end. Approaching the halfway point of the hockey game. 3-1, the Soviets lead. Kamensky up in deep now. Drops it back. Here's Makarov. Looking for Kamensky in front. Makarov. Losing it along the boards. Linden. Here's Courtnall. And he just clears it in, and Dave King makes some changes on the go. Archibald up there to forecheck, number 12 for Canada. Can't get to it. Lidster hustling down and in, but it is an icing call on the Soviets. We passed the halfway point of the hockey game. Canada's down by a pair. Kasatonov for the Soviets for Kozlov. Makarov couldn't handle the pass, and a penalty coming up against Team Canada. It will be a slashing call, and I believe Randy Smith is the culprit. And the Soviets will get a chance in the man advantage. Check that, it's not Randy Smith, it is Murray Craven heading off.
Craven took a whack at Zamnov right in the neutral zone, and Zamnov went down. Seemed to be all right once he got up, but he certainly made it obvious, at least to the referee, that he was in great pain over the slash.
And suddenly he's fine out there at center to go to work on the power play. Samnov wins the faceoff cleanly, maybe a little too cleanly. Puck all the way back down into the Soviet end. Kasatonov to Kozlov. Samnov works it across. Watch the Soviets set up in the offensive zone in the power play. They'll move that puck around looking for the one good shot. Kasatonov with that shot. It's knocked away. Rebound in front. Makarov going after it. He's got it. In back of the net. McCowan trying to break things up for Team Canada. For Archibald, he's given a bump in the corner by Konstantinov. Kozlov. Back to Zamnov. Gets it across. Kasatonov waiting. Konstantinov with a shot through traffic, knocked down, and Smith gets it out for Team Canada with 1:07 to go in the power play for the Soviets.
As soon as Konstantinov got that puck, he just shot it. That's very unlike Soviet defensemen while they're on the power play.
Here's Konstantinov.
They don't mind shooting from that point when they get set up, Paul, but you can bet that there'll be two forwards that will be blitzing the net as soon as that shot's coming from the point.
Nemchinov gets it in for the Soviets. Lidster there to steal for Team Canada. Here comes Bozak, short-handed, shoots! Just steered away by Marinin. Courtnall trying to stop things up, steals the puck and flips it back in for Team Canada. Good job of penalty killing here by the Canadians.
Well, and especially by Bozak, and that's one of the main reasons that Coach Dave King selected Steve Bozak, who has proven over the years, 10 years in the National Hockey League, is an excellent penalty killer.
Snaps it into Semak, back of the net. Lomakin's in front. Semak drops it off towards him, in back of the goal. Nemchinov after it. He'll pick it up. 4 seconds left in the power play. Kravchuk along the boards. Nemchinov moves it in. Semak is in front. Penalized player is back on. Vernon the save, rebound. Nemchinov couldn't get his own rebound, and Canada breaking out. On the wing, Larmer tried to center it, and it bounces off a leg and back out to neutral territory. McCowan waits for his mates to get onside. Didn't wait long enough, however, and offside is called on Team Canada.
Interesting that Dave King selected the pair of Jamie McCowan and Rick Nassif. Probably a good move, simply because the two of them played together for a good part of the year. in Calgary. And that roar from the fans gives you an automatic update as to the finished score. 3-0 now, and Jari Kurri scoring the third goal.
And the roar even a little bit louder, perhaps, because Jari Kurri did score it. He is just a titanic hero in this country. All over the sports pages, previewing this tournament, people expecting him to lead the Finnish team to a medal at this tournament. Puck in front, Vernon slaps it away. Larmer for Thomas, weak shot. Marinin just steers it off to the corner. Notice Marinin going down on his knees very early. In front, Thomas fires that wide. Bozak centers it in front. McCowan a shot. Sparkling save by Marinin.
And Marinin once again was quick to go down. Team Canada would be wise to start shooting more and going high on Marinin.
Canada with 19 shots so far in the game, but only one goal. Soviets only have 16 shots. They've scored 3 times.
Fiery Tikhonov.
Bozak right across. McCowan had snuck in from the blue line. Had to go upstairs. Gore sends it in, and it's a 2-line pass. Will be called back in the Soviets. Icing. Played 13 minutes and 42 seconds of this second period. Canada trailing the Soviets 3-1.
Lister had also played in the '84 Olympics. We had told you previously that he had played 3 World Championships. This is his 3rd World Championship, but he also played in the '84 Olympics in Sarajevo.
Few of those Olympic favorites now in the NHL back on this team. Dave King very loyal to them, and they loyal to King in that regard. Cliff Ronning also saw some action in the Olympic program. Played 134 games with them, as a matter of fact, from 1985 to 1987, and he's on this team. Kaminsky back in for the Soviets, trying to feather his way in towards the net. Bure along the boards. Kaminsky trying to get in front, still back of the goal. Great puck control by Kaminsky. Still with it. Gusarov back at the blue line, keeps it in. Kaminsky, number 13 for the Soviets, can't get to it. Here's Murray Craven, up the middle. Here comes Fleury. Waiting for the reinforcements, and here they come, but he can't land the pass on the stick of Craven. Bure up to Kaminsky. Looking for Bure trailing. Bure will go for the net. Kaminsky will go to the ice and couldn't make the play. McCowan can't get it out. Finally does. Here comes Fleury. In there. Fleury waiting. Centered it across in front of the net. And the pass was tipped up. Bozak couldn't convert it. Kaminsky up to Bure. To Bykov. Up to Kaminsky. Steps in. Drops it back. Fetisov moving up. Can't get the shot away. McCowan blocking it up for Team Canada. Drop pass. Linden. Shooting. Knocked away. Rebound in the corner. Running. Centers it. Nobody home in front.
That had been an interesting battle that had been going on out there between Trevor Linden and Pavel Bure.
Here's Makarov. Cuts in. Waiting. Centering. No shot yet. Here's Kozlov. Trying to fight off the checker. Kozlov still. Centers it in front. Bouncing puck. Vernon pokes it away. 4.5 minutes to play, second period. 3-1 hockey game. Team Canada trailing. Makarov. Back out. Kasatonov shoots. That is blocked. Courtnall can't handle the pass off the boards. Kozlov in for the Soviets. Walks around Natras, now losing his balance and the puck, and Linden wheels back for Canada. And he'll clear it down. Icing will be called, and Canada will have a chance to get a line change in. You're watching the World Hockey Championships. I'm Paul Romanek with Gary Green at the World Hockey Championships. Canada trailing the Soviets 3-1. And we are late in this second period. Trent Yanni in a foot race there with Semak. Here's Yanni. Semak watching him. He'll drop it back. Smith in there to pick it up. Gets it in front. Big results in a big stop by Marinin, stretched out on the ice after some great work by Randy Smith to work that puck out in front of the goal. And Marinin, who has not looked spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, has still managed to come up with some big saves at critical times like that one there. Smith had done a nice job to work it out in front for Murray Craven. And Marinin pays the price. And sitting in with us now for the next couple of minutes, Canadian goaltender Sean Burke. Not dressed for this game. Craig Billington is the backup for Mike Vernon. And Sean, how does it look from this vantage point instead of being down in the crease?
Well, I think in this period, especially, we've really come out and taken us through the Soviet team. It'd be nice to get one here if we could. I think we're putting pressure on it.
Sakic trying to set things up. Out there in the big line, broken up by Zelepukin. Moves it up ahead. Makarov in over the blue line, and Zelepukin was in offside there. And the faceoff will be outside the line. 16:47 we played in the second period. A 3-1 hockey game. You watch the Soviets, Sean, and they just love to work the puck around so much, wait for the perfect shot. That must make it hard on a goalie used to playing in North America.
Well, especially if, they get one like they did early on a bad bounce, and then they're not really taking any shots, and it takes a little while to get warmed up. Most of their chances they do get are great scoring opportunities.
Steve Conroy back there for Team Canada. Lidster back for Conroy. Clears it in. Thomas wheeling up to forecheck with Sakic. Marinin drops it off. Utsev up the middle, shoots just wide. Ripped it low and wide of the corner. Lead pass, Lidster gets it up, scores! Larmer. Sean, the big pass, able to spring Steve Larmer.
This is just a great play, and Steve, he gets himself open. He's got one of the best shots in the NHL, and he sure used it on this play here. He had his head up the whole way and knew exactly where he wanted to put it.
Lidster with a nice pass through heavy traffic, and Larmer just puts everything behind that shot, blowing it past Marinin. That is Larmer's second goal of the tournament, and Canada's second in the game. And Lidster picks up the only assist at 17:23. And what do you think of this Soviet goaltender Marinin? We haven't seen much of him on the international circuit.
Well, I think tonight he's made some real big saves for them. I think he learned a lesson here over in playing against Team Canada, where sometimes the guys aren't going to dump it around. They're going to fake it and shoot on net. He learned a lesson a tough way there, but he's made some big saves, and I think we've just got to keep putting the pressure on him, though. They're giving up a lot of good chances, and we got some great shooters on our club.
Gary Green and I had noticed that he seems to like to go down very early. Had you noticed that or not?
Well, I think over here, most of the European goalies really just rely on making the first save, and if that means going down, they have a lot of confidence in their defense, and that's what they try to play.
Soviets working it around. Fedosov shooting. Vernon the save, and he will pounce on the rebound and hang on. Vernon with a solid stop, and he was all over the rebound late in the second period. And Mike Vernon seems to be finding his footing as this game goes on. He looked a little shaky in the first period.
Well, that there's a real big save. Soviets are very dangerous after you've scored on them. They seem to like to come back and counter very quickly. And if you can hold them off after you've scored, that's sometimes your best weapon.
I'm Paul Romanuk with Gary Green and Sean Burke, Team Canada goaltender, joining us here for the last few moments of this second period. Sean has seen all the action for Team Canada so far in the tournament. Mike Vernon getting the start in this game. Bure steps in, but offside is called on the Soviets. And that's got to be tough on Mike Vernon, not having played as of yet in the tournament. Steps in against the Soviets. I mean, what a team to start against.
Oh, definitely. He's done a good job tonight. Like you said, as the game goes on, he's going to get more comfortable, especially playing on a rink this size against the Soviets. It's going to take you a little while to get adjusted. And, that was a big save there. We just scored, and you want to come up with that save and keep your team in the game.
What's the toughest thing or the biggest adjustment you have to make playing over here as opposed to playing in the NHL?
I think you really have to sit back in your net more. And for a guy like Mike, who's used to challenging shooters a lot, it can be especially tough. But, you know, you got to realize that the Soviets aren't going to try to shoot from everywhere. They're going to wait for a great chance, and sometimes you have to sit back.
Here's Ronning, works it up. Courtnall with a shot, and that is tipped up over the glass and into the netting. And has Jeff Courtnall ever been flying in this game for Team Canada? He's played well so far.
He's played great. He's had some great chances and scored some big goals for us. And with his speed, this is a perfect type of rink for a guy like him.
I guess the faces change in the Soviet team over the years. You've played a lot of games against the Soviets, but are the basic systems pretty much the same?
Oh, definitely. You know, they're great players as far as individual skills, but their biggest thing is that they play as a great unit. All 5 guys out there play together, and I think that you can see it doesn't matter who they have in the lineup. The guys who step in seem to know the system they utilize very well.
The scrum at the blue line off the face-off, and Zamnov is able to get it out for the Soviets. Ronning darting it back in. Courtnall couldn't get to it. Natras knocks it down. Up to Ronning. He's got some room. Tries to dip and dive his way in over the blue line. Makes some headway. Shoots high and wide. Soviets turn it back the other way. Kozlov quickly out for Kasatonov. Makarov drops it back now. About 1:15 to play in the second period. Canada leading, rather trailing the Soviets by a score of 3-2. Soviets were up 3-1. And Canada pulling closer with a nice goal by Steve Larmer. Kozlov steps in, less than a minute to go in the period. Back for Makarov. In deep, Kozlov was in front, couldn't get it to him. Kozlov with it now in the corner, sliding it along the boards. Trying to get loose. Zamnov back outside the blue line, and Kasatonov has to rag the puck, waiting for his mates to get onside. Simak, nice pass. Nemchinov steps in. Puck bounced on him, he couldn't get the shot away. Nemchinov able to keep it in. Here's McCowan back there for Team Canada. 28 seconds to play in the period. Soviets trying to pressure here late, and a penalty coming up against Team Canada. Jamie McCowan will go off. And that reaction about says how he feels about the call. The caliber of officiating over here, much different than what you're used to in the NHL, Sean.
Definitely is, Paul. I think when you come over, that's the one thing that you realize right off the bat is you're going to have to adjust the officiating. It's not going to adjust to you. And on a play like this in the NHL, you're going to get away with that 9 out of 10 times. It's unfortunate, but we know, and the guys have really harped on it this whole time, is that you just have to be more disciplined out there.
So Canada doing exactly what it didn't want to, giving the Soviets a late period power play, and one that will carry over into the second period should they fail to score here. McCowan going off for holding. 15 seconds left in the period. Soviets with the man advantage. Lomakin trying to snipe it across in front of the net there for Simak. Broken up, and this should at least get Team Canada out of the period. 5 seconds to go. And that will do it. After 2 periods of play, Canada down by a goal, 3-2. And what do you see looking ahead to the third period? I guess we will wait and see. Canada down by a goal. Lots more still to come. Jim Van Horn standing. Third period action just underway. I'm Paul Romanuk with Gary Green. World Hockey Championships round robin. Team Canada and the Soviets. And the Soviets starting off this period with a power play, and Theron Fleury starting things off with a shorthanded foray up into the offensive zone. Soviets back in control. 1:19 to go in the man advantage. Offside called. One step ahead in the wing was Vyacheslav Fetisov, or Fetisov. Tomato, take your pick.
Kamensky controls the play so much for the Soviets. The 25-year-old from Red Army is going to be around for the Soviets for the 92 Olympics, they say. Wherever he ends up playing next year, he will be available to this club, the national team, when the 92 Olympics come around.
Actually, that was Kamensky putting himself offside. I don't want to pin anything on Fetisov. Here comes Kamensky again. Bouncing that one in off the boards. Bykov back to the point. Soviets in the power play. Fetisov works it in front. Bykov with Bore moving in. Doesn't take the shot. Fleury breaks it up and gets it down and out. And another opportunity there where the Soviets maybe try to be too fine. Here's Larmer, shorthanded. Rebound! And Sakic couldn't pop it home. Here's Sakic in the corner. In front. Schlegel with another chance. Sakic back of the net. Fedosov steals it. Canada with a couple of good chances, shorthanded. Still 15 seconds to go in the Soviets' power play. Kozlov in over the blue line. Drops it off, and the rush broken up, and that will do it for the Soviet power play.
So Canada have been very aggressive in the offensive zone and the neutral zone. They've stood up well when they've been killing penalties off. But yet back in their own end zone, they get back into that tight, small, disciplined box.
Zamnov bangs it around off the boards. Here's McCowan. Back out now for Team Canada. Linden moving up to forecheck along with Ronning. Linden bumping into his man. Shot fired by Natras, and Marinin will hang on.
You notice that when the Canadians went to dump and chase, Marinin never even left his net. He stayed right in that crease. He wasn't going to take any chances.
Shots on goal right now, 24-18 for Team Canada, but Canada trailing by a score of 3-2. The coaching staff keeping a stat during the second period in terms of quality scoring chances. Canada with 10, according to the coaches, and the Soviets with 1.
Well, Canada definitely dominated in the second period. But you know that Dave King would be thinking if they could only do that again in the third, Tikhonov would have other ideas.
And a whistle right off the face-off. It's going to be a tripping penalty. And everybody's standing around like statues right now,
not knowing who it is. There's still major confusion there, but Konstantinov is going to the penalty box, so Team Canada will get an advantage again. Trevor Linden put the body into Konstantinov, and he must have then retaliated. We didn't see that on the instant replay.
Linden has played a strong game for Team Canada, had a good scoring chance earlier in the hockey game, and has punished a few of the Soviets with body checks. Fleury clears it in. Ronning, Courtnall, and Linden up front. This has maybe been Canada's best line in this game. Linden gets clipped by a stick and drops like a ton of bricks. He's still down on the ice. And right there below the right eye, you can see where he was clipped.
He sure was. Zamenhof going to the penalty bench. And there is the stick from Zamenhof right in Trevor Linden's face. See it one more time. Very careless usage of the stick on Zamenhof's part. It's just a minor penalty that is being issued to him, though.
And I think many of the Team Canada players expecting that the same rule would apply on international hockey that applies in the NHL, that being a major penalty which draws blood means a 5-minute penalty.
It doesn't have to be blood either.
And that is not the case in international hockey. So it's just 2 minutes for high sticking. And Trevor Linden looks okay, although an inch higher.
Great advantage right now for Canada, Paul.
An inch higher, he'd have been in big trouble. But right now, he's trying to lead Canada on this power play. A 5-on-3-man advantage. Canada trailing by 1 goal, 3-2. And here comes Fleury. Across to Yanni. Back to Fleury. To Yanni. Linden centers it in front, scores!
That's the best way to retaliate.
Cliff Ronning ties it up.
Nice setup with plenty of room. Watch Trent Yanni as he put that puck right on the stick of Trevor Linden. Now from the high up camera angle, watch Linden. Once he gets it, he just throws that puck right out. It did not go to Cliff Ronning as we initially thought. Instead, it went right off of Fedosov's skate and into the net.
So Linden gets credit for the goal. It comes on the power play. Yanni and Fleury with the assists at 2:47. And Canada still with a one-man advantage for the next minute and 30 seconds. And a chance to take the lead for the first time in the hockey game. This is Ronnie weaving along the boards. Kaminsky watching him. And again, they try for the bank shot off the defenseman, and Marinin hanging on to it. 1:13 to go in the power play for Team Canada. We've only played 3 minutes and 11 seconds of this third period.
Watch the way that Trent Yanni was creeping right into that slot looking for that pass. He didn't receive it. It was intercepted beforehand.
Yves Racine, power play specialist. In deep. Sacking, trying to get it in front, knocked away. Here's Doug Lidster now for Team Canada. 50 seconds left in the power play. Racine. Broken up by Vyacheslav Fedosov, can't get it out. Sacking to Racine, waiting, moves it in now. Racine. Thomas after. Sakic along the boards, back for Thomas. Larmer darting back to the net. Fedosov gets there first, can't get it out. Here's Sakic, shoots, rebound. Larmer to Thomas in back of the net. Fedosov knocking him down. And this time the Soviets make sure. They had 2 chances to get it out, the Soviets did. Team Canada able to keep it in both times. Penalized player set to step back on. Larmer comes in. Craven shoots. That's knocked down. Rebound. Kravchuk with it. Penalized player is back. The team's at even strength and even on the scoreboard. A 3-3 hockey game. The Soviets called for icing. You are watching TSN's exclusive coverage of the 1991 World. Puck fired in high and wide. Bure up there for the Soviets, trying to knock it down along the boards, but it's cleared out. Dmitry Mironov back to pick it up. And icing again called on the Soviets. 15 minutes to play in the third period.
You see how much that speeds up the game with that quick touch icing.
And things going a little too fast for that guy we just saw on the ground.
I'll tell you one thing, is that Mike Keenan is here observing this game this evening. He just arrived today. No doubt looking at hockey players for the Blackhawks, but also keeping his eye out on the Soviets and other teams for the upcoming Canada Cup. Maybe Mike Keenan, who experienced some 3 to 4 hour games in the first round of playoffs, might take note of the quick games of the World Championships.
I think it's great. You'll never see it. It's a total dreaming in Technicolor situation, but you'd love to see the NHL go to the wide ice surface, and some of the international touches like the no-touch icing would just speed the games up and I think make them a lot more entertaining, a lot more skating and wide open hockey. Seamak along the board, Smith trying to tie him up.
Well, that was your opinion anyway.
That's all it was. Kravchuk, number 3, back to pick it up. In his back pocket is number 12, Dave Archibald. Seamak hits the line. Nemchinov with him. Seamak shoots. Verdon the save. Rebound. Picked up by Fleury. Back up with Craven. Fleury to Craven. Seamak breaks it up. Nemchinov into the corner. Larmer gives him a rough ride. Natras clears it away. Here's Craven. Up with Larmer. Fleury's over on the far side. They can't get it to him. Craven manages to push it down into Soviet territory. Right back out. McCowan saw some open ice. Picked away. Biakin starts back. Kozlov trying to weave his way in. Knocked away. Lomakin picks it up now. Fleury intercepts. Back in. Bozak is trailing. Fleury for Bozak. Fleury now in the corner. Larmer will dart back of the net after it. Looking in front to Fleury, to Lidster. And the pass too hot to handle. Conroy can't make any headway. Doug Lidster will try now. Zelepukin watching him and almost stealing the puck. Lidster has to pull him down. No penalty on the play. Trevor Linden storms back up to the line to Fleury, and Linden making that little move at the blue line.
Zelepukin back in Canada's end zone tried his best to draw a penalty as he took quite a dive. Trevor Linden has really played a strong game. Courtnall, you could see to the left going offside on that last play. Trevor Linden has shown in this game his strength, his abilities to go for the net and have the talent and skill, Paul, at the same time to carry the puck with him.
3-3 hockey game. We played 7 minutes and 5 seconds of period number 3. World Hockey Championships round robin action. Both Canada and the Soviets undefeated to this point, 4-0 in the tournament. And we'll be back tomorrow on TSN with more live coverage of the World Hockey Championships. Canada will be playing the Swedish national team. Delayed penalty in the Soviets. Here's Yves Racine up to Linden. And play is called, and Canada with a huge opportunity. They'll get a chance on the power play. Canada on the power play. Here's Fleury, shoots, and Marinin will hang on to it.
Coming into this game, Canada had taken almost twice as many penalties as the Soviets had. The Soviets had only taken about 12 minutes of penalties. Canada, 30 minutes of penalties practically coming into tonight's game. But the Soviets haven't shown a great deal of discipline in the second and third period. They've ended up in the penalty box a number of times with bad penalties.
Fleury will walk up. McCowan shoots. Rebound in front. Thomas couldn't get to it. Here's McCowan. Over for Fleury. 1:35 left in the power play for Team Canada. 3-3 hockey game. Thomas up ahead for Jamie McCowan. Gusarov gets there first. McCowan had the stick up on him. Gusarov still able to clear it out. Fleury and Vernon get caught. Fleury able to hold off Vyacheslav Kozlov, who almost had the empty net. Larmer up ahead for Sakic, pulled away. Fleury at the blue line, controls the bouncing puck for Sakic. Back for Fleury. Shoots, knocked away. Larmer in the corner. 50 seconds left in the power play. And Nemchinov will just waste some time, precious time for Team Canada, and dumps it in.
As soon as he found the opening, then he put it down. Canadians also changing up.
Yves Racine comes over the board, so does Courtnall and Linden. Offside called on Team Canada with 33 seconds to go on the man advantage.
Courtnall, for the 4th time in his career this past season, scored 30 or more goals. Canada has had difficulties in the second and third period, though, going offside on too many offensive rushes.
Now, is that an example of the unfamiliarity?
I know what you were going to ask, and the answer is yes. These players have just been put together, and so haven't had the opportunity. The timing is a little off. The bigger ice surface makes a difference as well.
Here comes Courtnall up with Linden. Linden back for running now for Lidster. Racine shoots. Loose puck in front. Kravchuk can't clear it. 9 seconds left in the power play. Now it's dumped out. That big cheer, by the way, a few moments ago. Team Finland is up on the German team 5-0 in a game being played in Tampere. Racine, pocket pick by Semak, knocked in front, scores! And just like that, after killing off a Canadian power play, the Soviets come back, and they're up again.
And Zamenhof, after having taken that bad penalty, may have gotten himself back in Tikhonov's better books. Semak took the puck off of Racine and then just put it right over, as you could see right there, to Zamenhof. Lidster was not able to get up in time and to recover and to attack Zamenhof.
That is his 4th goal of the tournament and 2nd of this game, and the Soviets 4th of the game. They lead Canada 4-3. Semak picks up the only assist. Trent Yanni for Team Canada. Here's Schlegel. He's got some room, comes up. Craven breaking in on the wing. He'll dump it into Craven's corner. He can't get there, however, before Kasatonov.
That was another pretty good example, though, Paul, of the lack of coordination right now. The dump and chase should have taken place, and Craven had to hold up on the blue line, which just threw the whole advantage of dumping and chasing right off.
Here comes Archibald back in the slot. Smith drops it down into the corner now and breaks for the front. Archibald couldn't get it out to him. Here's Bure. Kaminsky just got ahead of him. McCowan and Kaminsky meeting up in the corner. Out along the boards, Archibald chops it down the ice. And this will be icing on Team Canada with just under 10 minutes to play in period number 3. Canada trailing 4-3. Be sure to listen up at the conclusion of this game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Black. I'm Paul Romanuk with Gary Green, Jim Van Horn, and Tom Watt, watching the action back at our TSN Control Center. The World Hockey Championships. Canada and the Soviets round robin action. Canada trailing 4-3. This man has scored 2 goals for the Soviets. Conroy knocking it in for Team Canada. Sacking. Looking for Thomas. Here's Lidster now. Lidster in deep. Trying to get it in front. Sakic. Back out for Conroy. Poked away. Joe Sakic up for Steve Conroy. Passes tip. Big bounce there at the line. Conroy has it again. Larmer. Faked and couldn't get it to Thomas. Soviets come back. Puck fired there by Zelepukin, and it's tipped up over the glass and into the netting, and we get a stoppage. We played 11:31 in period number 3. Canada trailing 4-3.
Canada's defense are going to have to move the puck quicker. Racine was guilty of that, which caused the 4th goal for the Soviets. And just on that last shift, Steve Conroy was as guilty, except it was in a little less dangerous position in the neutral zone. But no doubt Dave King has been harping away about that. Defense have to headman that puck quickly. Can't get caught hanging on to it too long.
Canada outshooting the Soviets 30-20. Lead pass up for Bozak, but he is offside and takes a little rap on the shin guards from Alexei Marin, the Soviet goalie, as he flew by. That's why he looks a little puzzled, saying how come there's no penalty being called.
Watch Bozak, though. He just came off of that right wing side and was looking for that lead pass. He was a step offside, but he was trying to get in behind the defense. Not even necessarily in behind. He was trying to cut in front of them, get that pass, but then have the advantage of being on the fly while they were sitting back on their heels.
Kravchuk make that. Kozlov weaving his way in, got it in front. Zamnov couldn't get to it. Zamnov looking for the hat trick in this game. Has 2 of the 4 Soviet goals. Yanni out to Fleury. He is bumped at the line, running into Mironov. Schlegel just missed Fleury with the pass. Bozak into Fleury. And that rush snuffed out. The puck was gloved ahead, and play is called.
Zamnov is just a 20-year-old as well. He was Winnipeg's 5th draft pick in 1990. He's led his team Dynamo to 2 consecutive Elite Division championships.
Played pretty well at the World Junior Championships back in 1990. Scored 6 goals over the course of 7 games. Natras. And that is tipped way up and into the netting behind Marinin, the Soviet goalkeeper. We get another stop.
That puck actually went off of Cliff Ronning, and that's why it did go way up. He was being held at the time.
never have to worry about a lack of effort from the likes of Theoren Fleury or Jeff Courtnall as they sit on the bench, watching time tick down. Actually, time ticks up on the clocks here at the World Championship.
The linesman making sure that his face-off alignment and the center iceman, Cliff Ronning for Canada, are not cheating.
It's like watching a Chicago-Minnesota NHL playoff
Took the words
game.
right out of my mouth.
Where the nation received a course on how to line up for a face-off. Interference penalty coming up.
Now Ronning's upset at Seamak. They're doing some pushing and shoving.
And a little bit more than just pushing and shoving, and that's why we're having penalties called. At least one penalty coming up, interference. And it looks as though that will be the only one. Cliff Ronning heading off. So the Soviets with a power play chance.
There's the interference right there. Ronning just put his stick out and hooked the Soviet player who was going by, and made sure then that he took a pretty good dive by doing the triple roll.
Penalty coming at 12:36. Seamak on the faceoff, losing the draw. Lidster picks it up. Kasatonov back for the Soviets. Nemchinov. Konstantinov. Soviets looking a little confused, and that's unusual when they're on the power play. They usually pass that puck so well. Murray Craveman getting it down the ice for Team Canada with a minute and a half to go in the Soviets' power play. Nemchinov along the boards, puck knocked loose. Konstantinov works it in, and Vernon didn't have to stop the shot. Seamak couldn't get it away. Seamak just poking it back out to the neutral zone. Soviets with a minute 5 to go in the man advantage. A 4-3 lead. We played 13:35 of this third period. Konstantinov. Back for Kasatonov, and the Soviets make some changes. Kamensky over the boards, Pavel Bure. Gusarov comes over. Here's Bure. Down into the corner. Vikov trying to get loose. Bure up there working with him. And Fedosov couldn't keep it in. Vikov. Fleury pulls it away. Couldn't get around Gusarov. Great hustle by Theoren Fleury. 24 seconds left in the power play for the Soviets. Time for one more rush. Back to regroup. Kamensky. Bure steps in, top of the slot. Scores! Gusarov.
Gusarov had just rewarded Theoren Fleury through his great efforts by taking a couple of hacks at Fleury. And then Gusarov got back to playing hockey, and as Pavel Bure fed him with the puck, he found room behind Mike Vernon. Gusarov found that short side on Vernon. Pavel Bure, though, doing the work, carrying the puck into the zone, getting himself into scoring position from the slot, but then elects to go to Gusarov, who is coming up on the left side.
Gusarov gets the goal, his first of the tournament. Kamensky and Bure picking up the assists on the power play at 14:27. And it's 5-3 for the Soviets. And that will be it for Mike Vernon, and in comes Craig Billington. Billington, one of 4 Olympic team members on this Canadian team for the World Championships. The others being Brad Schlegel, Randy Smith, and Billington just taking a little bit of a stretch. Dave Archibald, also, of course, an Olympic team member. Here's Bure. Bykov up there back of the net battling Yves Racine, trying to get it in front. Yanni back out. Larmer and Thomas coming up on the play. Sakic breaking for the net too. Thomas with a good low shot just wide. Racine trying to steer it in. Knocked down. Bykov. Here comes Bure. Top of the slot. Trying to work it through. Still has it. Bykov. Kravchuk with a shot, and Billington stops that. Here's Bure. Works it across. Fetisov with a shot. Billington the stop. The rebound. Fired just wide.
Billington's getting warmed up early.
And how? 2 stops the first minute that he comes in. Here's Bure again. And make it 3 stops for Craig Billington as he covers up. Welcome to the World Championship, Mr. Billington. Just under 5 minutes to play in this third period. Canada trailing the Soviets 5-3. Round robin action at the World Championships. Here comes Jeff Courtnall for Team Canada. Trevor Linden up there in the attack as well. Couldn't get it to him. Marinin, the Soviet goaltender, just drops it off. Courtnall for Linden, chopped away. Kravchuk being watched by Courtnall there. Still able to get it in. Zelepukin up along the boards. Zamnov's up there too. Zamnov trying to get it in front for Zelepukin. Cleared away. Back of the net. Viakin lets it go up around the board. Zelepukin. Butseyev, number 22, chops it loose. Running after it for Team Canada. Can't poke it out. Gets another chance and manages to get it up to Linden. Out to Steve Conroy. And Marinin handles that, no problem. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Canada down 5-3. Set up here to take their first defeat of the round robin here at the World Championships. The Soviets would remain undefeated at 5-0 and have sole possession of first place. Craven unloads, goes after the rebound. Konstantinov managing to spin him around. Puck kept in by Schlegel. No, it wasn't. Linesman right there to make the call and says Schlegel couldn't keep it in. Offside is called on Canada.
This is also Brad Schlegel's first World Championships. He's had 3 Izvestia tournaments, as well as 2 Spangler Cups. This past season, of course, playing for the national team, he was Dave King's captain.
And we are back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time with live coverage of the game between Team Canada and the Swedish team. Just a star-studded Swedish team. Mats Naslund on the club, Mats Sundin, Håkan Loob. Some very familiar faces.
The Soviets have played a very patient game. What's new, right? Viktor Tikhonov, I don't think was as concerned as maybe his expression showed at times. He has a great deal of confidence in this hockey club. But this confidence really goes from one unit to the next to the next. They play that patient style of game. When they get their opportunities, they can capitalize on them. And they waited for Canada to take a bad penalty, which Ronning did, and they capitalized on the power play.
Well, if it's any consolation, the Canadians have fared much better than the Americans did in their game against the Soviets. The Americans playing the Soviets the other night, and it was a lopsided hockey game. 12-2 was the final for the Soviet Union. If it's any consolation. Doug Lidster going after it for Team Canada. Being watched up there by Kozlov. Puck knocked ahead, and here comes Murray Craven. Back in, he's got Archibald and Smith with him. Archibald continues to chase, pays the price back of the net, trying to come up with a puck. Archibald still, and play is called, and that's why Murray Craven is right on top of Zamnov. Check that, it's Konstantinov. And a high sticking penalty coming up. And you can see Murray Craven. Who, me? at 18-13. So the Soviets will finish up the game on a power play, providing they don't score. So Dave King can look ahead perhaps to another meeting with the Soviets in the medal round, in all likelihood. Darren Fleury. Up the middle, tried to spring Bozak, and he ran smack dab into Igor Kravchuk. 1:38 to go in the power play for the Soviets, about a minute and a half to go in the hockey game. Fetisov. Fiakin. Semak. Conroy knocks it down. Semak has it back. Lomakin up for Semak. Back along the boards. Less than a minute to go in the hockey game. Lomakin. Trying to get it to Fetisov. Knocked down. Here's Fleury. Fleury still. Just lifting it across over into the other corner. 35 seconds to go in the hockey game. Fetisov just bumps it around back of his own net. As time will tick down and bring to an end Canada's perfect record at the World Championships. Puck snapped right on goal with just a few seconds to play. Billington hanging onto it. Kaminsky stepping in and wheeling one right on, and a little bit of extra bumping in back of the net between Yanni and Kaminsky. Craig Billington has looked pretty solid for Canada, coming in the last few minutes of the hockey game and making some solid saves, including this one here on Kaminsky. Kaminsky using Yanni well as the screen there and landing it right on goal. And in case you're wondering where Gary Green has disappeared to, he is heading down towards ice level, and we'll chat hopefully with Trevor Linden after this game. 22 seconds to play, and the Soviets leading 5-3. They will go to 5-0 in this tournament and be in first place, sole possession of first place. Canada will be tied for second place with Team Sweden. "15 seconds left in the game. Kravchuk. And Smith gets the stick up, and Canada will take another penalty with 6 seconds to go in the hockey game. And Trent Yanni in the thick of things. Randy Smith as well. It's going to be Smith heading off. And Pavel Bure heading off as well for the Soviets. High sticking and roughing the calls. And this just happens right near the end of the game. Smith getting his stick up on Bure. And again, just a very patient game by the Soviets, working the puck around, taking their chances. Only 25 shots on goal, but they come away with 5 goals and the victory, and are now 5-0 here at the 1991 World Hockey Championships. So the final score, the Soviets 5 and Team Canada 3. And we'll be back tomorrow to take a look at Canada against Sweden. Still more to come from Finland.